So you're broke. What if I told you this actually had nothing to do with money? Stick around because I'm going to break down exactly why your lack of money has nothing to do with your lack of money and how you can change that almost instantly. Hey, I'm Jeff Winberg, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and also click the bell icon next to the button there to make sure you get notifications when we publish new videos. So let's get into it. The biggest reason why you're broke is mindset, focus, and habits. It's those three things are like the biggest things that are keeping you broke, and we're going to go through each one and how they affect your money and all that kind of stuff. So when you're done with this video, you can have like a really good money mindset. Everything starts with mindset. So what is your mindset with money? Is it a good one or a bad one? Mine was not a great one when I started, and I actually had somebody say to me one time, if you were in a relationship with somebody who treated you the way you treat money, would you be in that relationship? And I was like 100%, absolutely not. It wasn't a good relationship. So I actually had to like stop and think about that for a second and figure out how to change that. Because what most people, myself included, and I still struggle with this, so I'm not like immune to this, but I'm just a little bit more aware of how I'm thinking about it. But what most people do is they look at money from a lack standpoint instead of an abundance standpoint. So as an example, if you have $1,000 in your checking account and you have to buy these things, you're like, oh gosh, that's going to take like that much of my $1,000. Let's say it's like $600 for brakes or something to fix on your car, which is never fun. But you're like, oh God. And you like, I always used to like feel it in my stomach. I still do sometimes, but it's that like initial, oh, that is a feeling of lack. Whereas when you come at it with a feeling of abundance, you just like, it is what it is. Like, it's not a big deal. The money's there. That's what it's there for, is to, spend on this kind of stuff. There will be more money to come back, and it's just not that big of a deal. And I feel like that's the biggest piece of the whole mindset thing, is making it less of a big deal. We'll get into more specific techniques for making this less of a big deal as the video goes on, but we just want to switch our relationship with money and our mindset around money to one of abundance instead of one of lack. And we're going to go into those techniques right now. So how do you have an abundant mindset around money? Well, a lot of times money just shows up. Like, how often have you been in a pinch and something just kind of breaks through where it's like either the exact amount of money or very close to the exact amount of money you need? But for me, that's happened like so many times that I've started just trying to believe that that is always going to be the case. And so far, it's always worked out. It's really hard to trust that, but you really need to just trust that, like, the universe or whatever it is that you believe in is on your side and is always working for you. And things will happen, because usually the lack mindset comes from that fear that like things aren't going to work out. And that's why we're stuck in that instead of just, living in the abundance that is out there. And really, it's just a choice. Like, do you want to like live and think abundantly about money, or do you want to live in and think in kind of like a lacking state? And generally it is a pretty easy choice. It's like, no, I want to live over there because it's like way more enjoyable, it's way happier, it takes me less mental energy and all that kind of stuff. Granted, you can't just think or try and use the law of attraction like, oh, I'm going to manifest $1 million tomorrow. That's not how it typically works. But what usually happens when people do that is they, set their intentions and all that kind of stuff, and then they start focusing on it's not showing up today, it's not showing up tomorrow, it's not showing up the next day. And then all of a sudden, what started out as like a really good thing with the law of attraction turns into, again, a state of lack because it's not showing up, it's not showing up. So that's what actually is being perpetuated, instead of putting it out there and being thankful and grateful that it has already happened and it will come to you. You just have to hold that space of gratitude. But for now, if you're going to use the law of attraction, make sure to put it out there and then just be grateful that it's already been done. First off, you can do this like almost immediately, is just minimize the time you're thinking about your lack of money. So just don't let yourself go to that spot. And it's literally as easy as making a choice of like, I'm just going to not think about it right now. So how can you tweak your mindset to put you in a better spot for, the situation you may be in? Because, I know that like maybe you don't have enough money and maybe bills are due and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying like put your head in the sand and don't think about it, but I am saying don't think about it so much. And what I mean by that is when you spend so much of your time like thinking about it and thinking about how much money you don't have, the universe is going to put back less money. It's just going to keep, the universe is a reflection of you. And if you're putting out lack of money, lack of money, lack of money, lack of money, that's what it's going to show back to you. So we need to minimize the time we're thinking about that. It's truly that simple. Just stop thinking about it. Yes, I know you have to tend to your bills and do all that kind of stuff, but just set aside a certain amount of time to focus on the bills and whatever you have to do, and then leave it there. Stop thinking about it. And this is one of the biggest things that has had like the biggest impact on me, is I used to think about it all the time. And just going from thinking about it all the time to thinking about it only when I had to pay bills, it like really like reduced the stress I had around money because I just made the choice to stop thinking about it. So I'd recommend you try that out. This goes right into the next item, which is focus. Basically, you're seeing when you're focusing on that, it's reflecting it back to you. So when you are focused on, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money. Oh man, I had $1,000, but now I've spent it all on my car repairs, and now I have even less money. Like everything is just focused on lack. Whereas if you focus on, man, well, I still have $400 left. Or I found $1 today, or oh, check this out, I got a rebate check and it's like for $40, it just showed up. Like start focusing on the positive things that are showing up instead of the negative, and that'll have a huge difference. But one of the biggest things like I mentioned about mindset was when I stopped focusing on money all of the time, all of a sudden, like everything became lighter and easier. And yes, you can still focus on, like paying your bills and getting things taken care of, but go pay your bills when they're due and then just like get out of there. Like know that that is kind of like a minefield, and you got to log into your computer and do all that stuff and then just leave it there. Like make the choice to just stop focusing on it, because it will literally like cause more lack to come into your life. There is a book called Dollars Flow to Me Easily, and depending on how, into the law of attraction or universe or whatever it is that you get, might sound completely dumb, but I read this and I was like, and the quote is basically like, the problem is not the lack of money in your life, it's the focus on the lack of money that is the problem. And I got to thinking about that and it was like, yes, I have a lack of money, but the lack of money is not perpetuating like this feeling that I'm having. What the problem is I'm thinking about this lack of money that I have, which is just a small problem, and I'm thinking about it like all day, every day. So for a whole freaking month, I'm thinking about, man, this little problem right here. I'm thinking about it and thinking about it and putting energy into it, and just like boring a hole through it with like my mind and everything. It was like, man, that is insane, because that is totally what I'm doing, and what a lot of people do is, it's not the problem that's the problem. It's the focus on the problem that's the problem. So we just need to change our focus. It's literally like all of this is so simple, and we literally just need to change our focus to something else that serves us a little bit better. So focus on positive or abundant things, and that will help a tremendous amount. So what if you don't have an abundance of money to focus on? So I would just put this out there. Have you ever found $1? Have you ever found a penny? A quarter, nickel, whatever it is, you have had money show up into your life, even if it's a small amount like this. My wife got a Nordstrom's check back for $4.10 for like literally doing nothing. So even if it's a $4.10 check, be grateful and focus on how awesome it is that you just got like a penny, $1, whatever. Like it just showed up for free. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but like we're working on training our mindset to focus on something else. So just focus on whatever little amount you have, and it will start to build upon itself. So I have a question. Do you actually focus on the lack of money or the money? If it's the lack of money, type yes into the comments below. I'd love to just know kind of how the audience breaks up. Okay, next up is habits, and this is where the mechanics start to happen. So we've changed our mindset and focus, which are kind of tied together, but the habits are what really, kind of make or break our finances. If you look at it, your habits have gotten you to where you are right now. Like, what are your habits? What are your spending habits? What are your saving habits? What are your money management habits? And if you're like me, I didn't really have any money management habits. I'm still working on them. I don't have great ones yet, but I'm still working on them. Like work on this, then work on that. But until you like realize what your habits are, it's kind of like hard to change them because everything is habits. If you don't have a habit for managing money, you're not going to manage your money. If you don't have a habit for saving money, you're not going to save money. So I ask you, what habits do you have? These are the things that are going to drive us. These are the things that drive us every day in our lives, not only with money, but everything. Like if you wake up and you have a coffee in the morning, that is a habit. If you wake up and go right to the bathroom every morning, that is a habit. So if you're a smoker, your habit is to go buy cigarettes, light one up, smoke it. However, if you're not a smoker, do you ever have the thoughts of like, do I need to go buy cigarettes today? Do I need to smoke today? No, you don't, because that's not a habit of yours. So we need to see what our habits are and then figure out how to change those habits to benefit our lifestyle. So what habits do you have? What habits do you need to upgrade? If you don't have good money management habits, this is one I always thought was kind of stupid when I was a little bit younger, but now I see the benefit in it as I've like started, getting better with money is like, if you don't have money management habits, manage a dollar. What are you going to do with that dollar? And like, actually do that consistently and build the habit so as more money comes in, you have the systems in place to already like manage the more money. Because like what happens a lot of times is people say, oh, I want more money, that don't have good saving habits, money management habits, or just financial habits in general. And then the more money comes in and they just squander it the way they always do. And then they find themselves back at square one without any money because they haven't built the systems and the foundations to like really have a really, really good money management system set up. Basically what we want to do is build the foundation so when more comes in, it all goes and does what it needs to do without us having to think about it. Because if we don't build the habits of somebody who's in the position we want to be in, it's going to be really hard to change that scenario. So you got to think of like, let's say you make $80,000 a year and you want to double that income. Okay, what kind of characteristics and ways of being would a person who makes 160 grand a year have that you don't have, and then start trying to encompass those and be those characteristics and habits so that when the money shows up, you're already doing what you need to be doing. So again, it all comes down to mindset, focus, and habits. Those are the core drivers of all of this, and if they're not in alignment with each other and working for where you want to go, you're probably not going to get there. It's the way we're being, and the way we're being has the power to change whatever we want. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up below. Lastly, if you know somebody that would benefit from this video, make sure to share it with them because we are here for next generation financial education to make sure your money works for you instead of you working for your money. I'm Jeff Winberg, and have a great day.